Breaking news coming in this evening. Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi has confirmed that Sunanda Pushkar's death was in fact due to poisoning. According to Bassi, the death was not natural and that the poison was either administered orally or injected. A murder case has now been registered in Sunanda Pushkar death case. Let's get a word from our Deputy Editor Atir Khan, who's with us on the phone line from the National Capital. Atir, major developments. A murder case has now been registered with regards to Sunanda Pushkar's death.
Well, of course, there were already indications that it was not a natural death. And there were some injury marks also which were found on her body. Now there is a confirmation from the Delhi police that they are treating it as a case of unnatural death. And they've registered a case of unnatural death, and they've started the probe. The reason being that they have received forensic reports of the toxicology, which confirms that the poison was, administered in some way into the body. So clearly now the case has taken a different turn altogether. It is being probed as an unnatural death.
Absolutely. Atir Khan, Deputy Editor, getting us the latest on this big breaking news we're getting in this hour. The Police Commissioner of Delhi confirming that Sunanda Pushkar's death took place due to poisoning. According to the Police Commissioner, the death was not natural and that poison was either administered orally or was injected. Atir, tell us, how did the Police Commissioner, did the Police Commissioner say anything about how how death due to poisoning had been ruled out earlier?
Well, you see, there were a dispute over the forensic reports. As far as toxicology is concerned, there were conflicting reports between AIMS and the CFSL. And now a third opinion was taken, following which the exhaustive, tests were carried out. And now the report has come out which says that the poison was administered into her body. So clearly now it becomes a case of unnatural death and also will be proven on lines of murder. Earlier there were initial reports which indicated, and we had also reported there were injury marks on Sunanda Pushkar's body when it was discovered. Now, so that will be looked into all over again. All those aspects which indicate it was an unnatural death will be probed again, and the people will be questioned in regarding this case.
में ज़रूरी है वो हम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमें इसमें जो है अब केस दर्ज करके जो है जो भी इसमें तफ्तीश होगी कानून के मुताबिक वो हम कर रहे हैं। देखिए, ऐसा है कि 29/12 को हमारे को जो मेडिकल बोर्ड थी उसने रिपोर्ट दे दी थी। तो उस रिपोर्ट में जो मेन मुद्दा उन्होंने हमें ये बताया है कि डेथ जो है नंबर 1 अननेचुरल है, यानी कि नेचुरल डेथ नहीं है। दूसरा उन्होंने बताया है कि डेथ इज़ ड्यू टू पॉइजनिंग, और उसमें ये भी उन्होंने कहा है कि पॉइजनिंग जो है ये ओरली भी ली हो सकती है, और इसके अलावा ये हो सकता है कि इंजेक्ट भी की गई हो, और बाकी उसके अलावा भी उन्होंने कुछ हमारे को बातें बताई हैं। तो अब इसमें जो हमारे को, जैसा आपको मालूम है कि क्वांटम ऑफ जो पॉइजन की क्वांटिफिकेशन का काम इंडिया में नहीं हो सकता, उसके लिए हमें बाहर के विदेश में भी जो सैंपल्स है भेजने पड़ेंगे। तो उसके लिए ज़रूरी है कि केस को दर्ज किया जाए। तो जो ज़रूरी था हमने कर लिया है, केस दर्ज कर लिया है। तो इसमें जो है हम अब तफ्तीश करेंगे, क्योंकि एक बात बड़ी क्लियर है कि डेथ नेचुरल नहीं है। तो ऑब्वियसली अननेचुरल डेथ के अंदर में जो धारा लगती है, जब हम FIR दर्ज करते हैं 302 में, तो वो उसमें हमने FIR दर्ज कर दी है। 302 मैंने बताया ना, अज्ञात लोगों के खिलाफ। तो ऑब्वियसली जो अभी हमारे को मालूम नहीं है कि अगर किसी ने जहर जो पी गई है, क्या खुद पी गई या किसी ने जबरदस्ती पिलाई, या जो इंजेक्शन लगा है, जो इंजेक्शन जबरदस्ती दिया गया है तो किस तरह से दिया गया, ये सब तफ्तीश में हमें पता चलेगा। देखिए, इसमें जो भी आवश्यक होगा वो सब किया जाएगा। हाँ जी,
1 साल बाद ये ऐसा क्यों, ऐसा क्या?
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है कि 1 साल बाद नहीं, वो जो मेडिकल रिपोर्ट हमारे को पहले मिली थी वो इंटरम थी। उसके बाद में डॉक्टर ने हमारे से जो उसके बाद में रिपोर्ट दी, उसमें भी उन्होंने हमसे कहा था कुछ आगे जानकारी प्राप्त की जाए। वो हमने जानकारी प्राप्त की। वो जानकारी प्राप्त करने के बाद में हमने फिर डॉक्टर को सबमिट की डॉक्टर ने उसके बाद में हमारे से कुछ और जानकारी मांगी थी। अब जो है एक उन्होंने अपने कंक्लूजन्स दिए हैं जो अवेलेबल जानकारी की बेसिस पे, तो उसमें जो हमने कंक्लूजन है तो उस कंक्लूजन के बेसिस पे आगे तफ्तीश को जारी रखने के लिए ज़रूरी है कि इस केस को दर्ज करके आगे चला जाए और जो भी मुनासिब होगा वो इसमें किया जाए। देखिए ऐसा है कि मिस्टर जो भी इसमें विटनेसेस थी, दे वर एग्जामिन्ड बाय द SDM when he conducted the inquest proceedings. So all relevant witnesses were examined by the SDM. तो SDM ने उनको एग्जामिन किया था। उसके बाद में जो जिन विटनेसेस को हमारे को एग्जामिन करना जरूरी था, हमने अपनी 174 की कार्रवाई में भी एग्जामिन किया था। अब जो 302 में हमने केस दर्ज किया है, इसमें जिन भी विटनेसेस को और जिन भी व्यक्तियों को जो इस केस के बारे में जानकारी रखते हैं एग्जामिन करना होगा, हम एग्जामिन करेंगे। यस, हमने जो है साउथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट की एक स्पेशल टीम फॉर्म की है जो इस इन्वेस्टिगेशन को देखेगी। DCP साउथ उसको इन्वेस्टिगेशन को क्लोजली मॉनिटर करेंगे।
सर क्या FIR में किसी का नाम नहीं, अज्ञात लोगों के खिलाफ?
नहीं, अभी किसी का नाम नहीं है इसमें। देखिए जो भी आवश्यक होगा वो इस केस में किया जाएगा।
जो रिपोर्ट आपको मिली है वो कहाँ से मिली है सर? उसमें क्या रिपोर्ट है?
उस रिपोर्ट में क्या है सर? कहाँ से
29/12 को मिली, कहाँ से मिली सर?
भाई हमें एम्स में पोस्टमार्टम हुआ था, तो एम्स के जो बोर्ड है उसने हमें ये रिपोर्ट दी।
सर क्या दूसरा रिपोर्ट जो बता रहे थे कि बाहर की तरफ दूसरा गया है, वहाँ से कुछ रिपोर्ट एम्स में पहले रिपोर्ट दी थी, उसमें कुछ मटेरियल के नाम थे, कुछ सब्सटेंसेस के नाम थे जिनकी जाँच इंडिया में नहीं हो सकती थी?
भाई देखिए मैंने बताया क्योंकि जब 174 की हम कार्रवाई कर रहे थे तो उसमें बाहर भेजने में कुछ समस्याएं थी, पर अब हमारा जो केस दर्ज हो गया है तो जो बाहर से हमें एग्जामिन करना है उसको अगर आवश्यक होगा लेटर रोगेटरी के थ्रू, अगर आवश्यक होगा एमलेट के थ्रू और अन्य जो हमारे प्रोसेसेस हैं उनके थ्रू हम इसको बाहर से एग्जामिन करवाएंगे।
इसका मतलब सर जो रिपोर्ट अभी आई है एम्स से उसमें ये साफ हो गया है कि जो सब्सटेंस था वो पॉइजन था।
हाँ, नहीं ये मतलब नहीं डेथ इज नहीं देखिए सब्सटेंस क्या था इसके बारे में अभी फर्दर इनपुट्स आने के बाद में फर्दर कहा जा सकेगा, पर फिलहाल ये बताया गया हमारे को डेथ इज ड्यू टू पॉइजनिंग, इट इज नॉट ए नेचुरल डेथ। जो भी आवश्यक होगा इस केस में किया जाएगा। We have registered a case. We have registered a case under section 302, and we are going to investigate this to take it to logical conclusion.
Sir, many questions will be raised as to why it took you nearly a year to register an FIR in a case where from beginning it looked like there was some doubt and some suspicion.
No, you see, we do not go by the doubts which are entertained by persons who are unaware about the processes of investigation. This case was looked into by the SDM. Then the doctor had given a report which was interim in nature. Then certain information was sought by the doctor. That information was collected, was given to, provided to the medical board. Medical board examined that information. Then they also, thereafter they sought some further clarifications. Information was gathered.
Sir, what made
and information was submitted. Now a final report, you can say, and a report has been given which says that death was not natural. Death was due to poisoning. The poison could have been administered orally or it could also have been injected. So keeping all these factors in mind and to proceed further in the matter, the case has been registered.
So what makes the doctor believe that this poison might have also been injected?
So doctor has said that the poison could have been consumed orally as well as it could have been. So he has not given a definite conclusion, but both possibilities he has indicated.
लेकिन सर पहले जो रिपोर्ट दी थी उसमें पॉइजन का नहीं था जिक्र, अब पॉइजन का जिक्र है, तो क्या ऐसे पॉइंट्स थे जो डॉक्टर्स ने माने कि ये पॉइजन है?
देखिए ऐसा मैं डिटेल में अभी आपसे डिस्कस नहीं कर सकता, और जो आपको ये साथ शेयर कर लिया है।
सर पहले इस तरह की बात आई थी शायद ड्रग ओवरडोज है या उसमें किसी तरह का मिक्सचर है, उसकी वजह से इस तरह की डेथ हुई हो।
देखिए ये मैं स्पेकुलेशन में नहीं पढ़ना चाहता, मैं आपको जो डेफिनेट इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो देना चाहता हूँ।
सर अलग से
That was the Police Commissioner of Delhi sharing details about the Sunanda Pushkar death case. Sunanda Pushkar, wife of former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor was found dead under suspicious circumstances in a South Delhi hotel last year. Let's get a word from Deepak Sharma, our editor investigations, who's with us on the phone line. Deepak, the police commissioner is saying that what they've been able to ascertain is that this was an unnatural death due to poison that was injected orally or injected using some other injection. What they're saying right now is that the police is still not sure what kind of poison was used and in what quantity.
Simi, headlines today were the first channel which broke this story, referring to the documents of the medical board which has initiated the autopsy on Sunanda Pushkar's body. And it was clear and evident that poison was administered. And secondly, there had been evidences which had been referred by the Dr. Sudhir Gupta that there could be, the poison could have been administered through injection. Now it's up to the police to carry on that investigation. It's really a big mystery that why, despite so much evidence, the sub-divisional magistrate and later the station house officer, they tried to hush up the case. Then again, when headlines today started a campaign and showed another series of documents, then finally there was some sort of pressure, and police had finally to acknowledge the report of the medical board, which straight away indicates that it's not a case of natural death, it's a case of poisoning which amounts to homicide.
Right, and Deepak, can you take us through the sequence of events, what followed after Sunanda Pushkar's death, the first report that was submitted, the second report, and allegations of political pressure that some board members had alleged?
You see, both the report, the first autopsy also indicated about poison, but the police and the sub-divisional magistrate, they were not convinced. So, again, the autopsy and the viscera was referred for chemical examination and an opinion of a medical board. So a medical board was constituted. The viscera was sent for a chemical examination to the forensic experts, and they also opined it's a case of poison. So after the two tests, it was clear that it's a case where it seems to be that Sunanda was given poison. Now it could be a matter of further investigation with whether she was administered injected, because the injuries in the inquest report, they do indicate that there are some points which had been referred by the doctor of which seems that injection was administered. So there had been some bruise marks on the hands, on the left hand of Sunanda Pushkar. Now this is, I think, further investigation would be done by the police. But yes, prima facie, it was a case of poisoning, and it should have been registered as under Section 302, that is of homicide of murder.
Absolutely. Deepak, stay on with us. You're also being joined by our Deputy Editor Atir Khan, who's with us on the phone line. Atir, an important point that Deepak Sharma, our Editor Investigations, is making there, considering that right from the start, the medical board that had first conducted the autopsy had hinted at poisoning. In spite of that, there were several retests that were confirmed. The viscera was sent for a forensic examination. The report was re-examined by another panel of doctors. The Delhi police took almost a year to register an FIR in the case, in spite of the fact that it had been in spotlight.
Well, that's right. You see, at the time when this incident was reported, there were many angles which the Delhi police was looking into. And headlines today, if you recall, was the first one to have reported that her body had injury marks, and there was a big blue blot on her arm, on her forearm. So those angles were being looked into police, but they were not very sure about the forensic report, and that's why they were waiting for the viscera, which later came in, which was disputed by two well-known labs. So thereafter, the police had to take the third opinion, following which they have now made up their mind that a case of murder needs to be registered, and it has to be probed on those lines.
Absolutely, Atir. And when this news of Sunanda Pushkar's death first came to light, there was a huge story that was doing the rounds in the media, with Sunanda Pushkar tweeting saying that she was being threatened and that she was extremely upset because of an alleged affair that was taking place between her husband, former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor, and a Pakistani journalist. Which is why there was there was tremendous pressure on Sunanda Pushkar as well. After her death, we heard several reactions from her family members saying they don't want the media to carry out a trial, and they said that they didn't want the police to pursue this case as well.
Well, that's right. You see, there was no certainty as far as evidence is concerned, and perhaps that is the reason the family was hesitant. Now that there is evidence and forensic reports suggest otherwise, that there is a foul play in this case, and now the police is of course going to look this case afresh, and it is going to examine the witness from the mother point of view. So the case has taken a different mold altogether. It will be probed as a case of murder, and as the Delhi Police Commissioner was saying, some advanced forensic reports will also be carried out, perhaps in a foreign country, and that's why there's a need to register a case and follow it up with the report.
Absolutely, Atir. And even as Sunanda's family members, including her son, they gave statements saying that the case should be left where it is, and it should not be probed further. Said that, but there were some friends of Sunanda Pushkar's who had insisted at that time that Sunanda wasn't the kind of woman to commit suicide.
Well, that's right. You see, the family was not very sure about the reports, and they were hesitant to make any emphatic statement. Now that the forensic reports are out, they will obviously have a different view on this entire situation. The police has registered a case of murder, which an unnatural death. So there is a possibility that police will also examine all the witnesses involved, and they would also like to, ask them, about certain facts which were left because the reports were pending.
But Atir, stay on with us. This is a big developing story we're tracking. Let's once again listen to that reaction we got a short while back from the Delhi Police Commissioner.
भाई देखिए, मैंने आपको उस दिन भी बताया था कि जो भी इस केस में ज़रूरी है वो हम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमें इसमें जो है अब केस दर्ज करके जो है जो भी इसमें तफ्तीश होगी कानून के मुताबिक वो हम कर रहे हैं।
केस दर्ज कर लिया गया सर?
देखिए, ऐसा है कि 29/12 को हमारे को जो मेडिकल,
तो क्या ऐसे पॉइंट्स थे जो डॉक्टर्स ने माने कि ये पॉइजन है?
देखिए, ऐसा मैं डिटेल में अभी आपसे डिस्कस नहीं कर सकता, और जो आपको ये साथ शेयर किया जा सकता था वो मैंने शेयर कर लिया है।
सर, पहले इस तरह की बात कर रही थी कि शायद ड्रग ओवरडोज है या उसमें किसी तरह का मिक्सचर है, उसकी वजह से इस तरह की डेथ हुई है।
देखिए, ये मैं स्पेकुलेशन में नहीं पढ़ना चाहता, मैं आपको जो डेफिनेट इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो देना चाहता हूँ।
सर, अलग से
That was the Police Commissioner of Delhi saying that the police has registered a case of murder, also saying that the cause of death was unnatural. Sunanda Pushkar reportedly died due to poisoning. The poison was taken either orally or injected. Atir Khan, our deputy editor, is with us on the phone line. Atir, the police also say that the medical board has not been able to ascertain for sure what sort of poison was used and in what quantity.
Well, that's right. You see, that is why there is a need for an advanced medical examination, and perhaps in some foreign countries. The medical board which was found was in the follow-up to disputed reports which were coming in from 2 forensic labs. Now that it has been ascertained that the body, she was administered poison into her body. Now, what kind of poison was that has to be carried out in very highly advanced tests, which only happens in some countries abroad. So perhaps the Delhi police will put in a request for that. But there is a mandatory requirement for that, that you need to register a proper case, and then, along with a copy of the FIR, you have to send those requests to the foreign country.
Right, and Atir, the medical board that had first conducted the autopsy had also blamed the police for not providing proper evidence as far as this particular case is concerned. They said there weren't enough photographs available to show what kind of condition the body was found in.
Yes, that is right, and the forensic experts thought that some more corroboration was needed on the part of investigators, because the people who reached first on the spot know a lot about the crime scene, and that is why they were they had requested that more details should be provided to them. And now that police is going to look afresh at this case and is going to probe it on the lines of foul play, all these angles will be looked into.
Atir Khan, our deputy editor, reporting on this big story we're tracking this afternoon. wife of former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor, Sunanda Pushkar, had been found dead in her hotel room in South Delhi about a year ago. The circumstances leading up to her death also were covered and reported by the media. She had tweeted about how upset she was because she suspected that her husband, former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor, was allegedly having an affair with the Pakistani journalist Meher Tarar. She tweeted saying she was extremely upset and disturbed because of this. After these tweets, Sunanda Pushkar reportedly shifted into a hotel, a prominent hotel in South Delhi. The following morning, in fact late at night, her body was discovered. We've seen lots of flips and flip-flops in this case. The medical team which first conducted the autopsy suspected the use of poison, but the police wasn't sure if they had enough evidence. We've been seeing several versions of medical reports as well. Now the Delhi police finally registering an FIR for murder, saying that Sunanda Pushkar died due to poisoning that was either taken orally or injected. Remember, there were several injury marks that were also found on Sunanda Pushkar's body. Ata Khan, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for more. A short break here. Lots more lined up on headlines today. Do stay with us.